Hello and good evening. I'm. It's a strange bit of day that a day after India lost the Cape Town Test, and of course with the series, just a couple of hours ago came the news. In fact, Virat himself announced that he is not going to be the Test captain anymore. In fact, he has stepped down as India's Test captain. Now, uh, in September, you would remember that he had quit T20 captaincy. Thereafter, he announced a few days later, he announced that this would be his last season as RCB captain also. And then, when the Test team for the South Africa tour was announced, the selectors, in fact, the BCCI, through a statement or an email, had made it clear that going forward, Rohit Sharma would be the ODI captain. And thereafter, now, what has happened is Virat Kohli has also announced that he's not going to be the Test captain. So that means the next time that India would come out in Test, that would be against Sri Lanka later next month in February. Virat will not be there as the Test captain. Now, what could be the possible reasons? We'll come to that. But before that, I'm just going to read out what exactly Virat mentioned in his statement. I'm sure a lot of people amongst you would have already known that what Virat said in that statement, but we'll just try and dissect how and what he said. Okay. Um, it's been 7 years of hard work, toil, and relentless perseverance every day to take the team in the right direction. I've done the job with absolute honesty and left nothing out there. Everything has to come to a halt, and at some stage, and for me, as Test captain of India, it's now. There have been many ups and also some downs along the journey, but never has there been a lack of effort or lack of belief. I've always believed in giving my 120% in everything I do, and if I can't do that, I know it's not the right thing to do. I have absolute clarity in my heart, and I cannot be dishonest to my team. So, if going by this first statement that he said, maybe he himself has come to a stage. He's come to a stage where he now thinks that it's time to give up his Test captaincy. Now, what all may have had? Is it completely a cricketing logic or a cricketing reason that Virat thought that it's time to give up his Test captaincy, or there is something, or maybe there is something more than what meets the eye? Now, what has happened in the last 4 5 months? Has may have left a bad taste as far as Virat is concerned. There have been reports of friction within, or rather between BCCI or Saurav Ganguly, if I may say, and Virat Kohli. We've known what has happened. T20 captaincy when he quit. It was just a day before Virat was, or the Indian team was to leave for South Africa for that tour, for this tour of South Africa. Virat, in a press conference, made was asked a question rather, that was there an effort to stop you from quitting your T20 captaincy? And in response, Virat said that no, absolutely not. Nobody asked me to not to quit T20 captaincy. Now, why was this question asked? This question was asked because a few days back, Saurav Ganguly, who's the board president right now, he had said that, I had personally requested Virat Kohli not to quit T20 captaincy. And similar statements were made already, off the record though, from the people who were there in that meeting when Virat had announced or proposed or told the people involved that he's not going to be T20 captain, that you may just reconsider your decision, considering that the T20 World Cup was just a couple of months away. So you can reconsider it and maybe take this call later after the T20 World Cup. So Virat, when Virat said that he was never told, he was never asked not to quit T20 captaincy. It was something. It came across as if Virat was denying what Saurav Ganguly had said, and Virat and Saurav Ganguly at that point in time was absolutely furious. He, in fact, the there were reports and that there was a possibility that Virat may be served a show cause notice. Of course, that didn't happen because there was a tour that was on. India had already left for South Africa, and then they won the Centurion Test also. So obviously, the manner in which everything has happened in the last 4 5 months, Virat may have felt a little let down by some of the office bearers within in the BCCI, and that may have prompted Virat to take a decision like this. Because remember, Virat, of course, he has a legacy as far as Test cricket is concerned. He has led this Indian team incredibly well. India has won some very important series overseas, whether it was in Australia. Then again, twice in Australia. Of course, in the second time that India won the series in Australia, Virat came back after the year ago. Virat came back after that loss in Adelaide, but India did go on to win that Australia tour. Not for the first time, but second time in a row. And then in England, then they went to England after the World Test Championship final. They went to England. They were leading 2-1 when the fifth and final test of that series, um, a day before, on the eve of that test match, the Indian players, the Indian team decided that they will not take the field. Why? Because there were a few COVID cases in the Indian camp, and they thought that it would not be appropriate or it would not be safe to play that test match, considering there is an incubation period, and there is a possibility that some more cases may come up. Now, all these things happened, and after India won the test match in Centurion, and we all thought, a lot of people actually thought that the entire controversy between Saurav Ganguly and Virat Kohli may have died down, and we were all celebrating. Everybody was celebrating that India has won a test for the first time in Centurion. And what happens next? Chetan Sharma, the chief selector, comes for a press conference to announce the ODI squad. And usually that's not the norm these days. That BCCI, usually what happens is BCCI announces the team through an email, through a statement to the media persons, and that is how it has happened in the last few years. Now, yeah, the T20 World Cup was an exception where the chief selector and board secretary were present because that was an important tournament, T20 World Cup, when a press conference was held. But usually that doesn't happen. So, breaking the norm, for the first time in some years, Chetan Sharma, the chief selector, comes out in the for the press conference, and he was asked a question that did you or Saurav Ganguly ask Virat Kohli not to quit T20 captaincy? And his response was yes. He said, in fact, of that every member who was present in that meeting when Virat announced or informed them that he is not going to be the T20 captain anymore. Um, it was Everybody asked him to reconsider his decision. So in a way, Virat must have thought that it's a decision. Something what happened there was something that maybe to he may not have taken that too kindly or too lightly, and maybe the decision that Virat has taken today, just a couple of hours ago, has something to do with what has happened in the last 4 5 years. I would not buy the fact that what has happened has anything to do with the result of this South Africa series. I'm going to be joined by Nikhil also in some time. We would take your questions also. But as of now, Virat has quit as test captain. Now, but the big question is, what next now? What next? Who is going to be um, your next test captain? Because Ajinkya Rahane uh, for the longest time was his deputy, was his vice captain. In fact, whatever opportunities that Ajinkya Rahane got to lead India, he did reasonably, or rather incredibly well. He it was under his captaincy that India won that tour of Australia. In whatever little opportunities that he got, he did incredibly well, Ajinkya Rahane. But now the point is that Ajinkya Rahane's place is in doubt, because a lot of people have already written him off as far as the next test is concerned. That is going to be played next month, in February, late February, against Sri Lanka. So will Ajinkya Rahane make it to that 11? That is obviously, that is not we are not too sure about it. But then uh, Rohit Sharma is the next option. What is Can Rohit Sharma lead India in all three formats? Can Rohit Sharma be the captain of Tests, ODIs, and T20s, considering his fitness? Virat, being how particular he has been with his fitness, has led India in all three formats for the longest time. Then at 33, he says that I'm going to focus on Test cricket. And now suddenly we have somebody like Rohit Sharma who's struggling with his fitness, with some of the injuries, especially the hamstring injury that comes up, or rather flares up, or reoccurs every now and then. So can Rohit Sharma lead India in all three formats, or are we looking at a generational or a transitional change as far as captaincy is concerned? Can we have somebody like KL Rahul, who led India in the Joburg Test, take over as a full-time Test captain? So these are all the questions that are going to come up in near future. But this is what we have known today, that Virat Kohli is not going to be the Test captain anymore. In fact, he has himself relinquished his Test captaincy, and that's a big breaking that happened today, a couple of hours ago. And now a lot of people are sending their suggestions. I think Rishabh Pant will be in the contention. Somebody is saying, all that will have to be. We'll have to see. And it's so strange that just 4 or 5 months ago, when Virat made it public, made this announcement that he's not going to be the T20 captain. In that statement, he had mentioned one line, that he wants to focus on ODIs and Test cricket, as in as captain. He wants to focus on captaining or leading India in ODIs and Tests. So, what happened in just about say 4 or 5 months, that Virat is not the captain of in any of these formats? A, when he mentioned that he wants to lead India in ODIs and Tests, he was removed as the ODI captain. Of course, the selectors, their point of view was that they want to have separate captains for white ball cricket and for Test cricket. Now, the moment Virat gave up his T20 captaincy, selectors say that it was inevitable that he had to be removed as ODI captain, because they were looking at one captain for white ball format. Okay, A. So Virat must have felt bad, because he had announced in public that I want to lead India in ODIs and Tests. So that happened. Then happened the controversy, all that huge controversy with Saurav Ganguly over whether he was asked to not to quit T20 captaincy. So all that must have left a bad taste as far as Virat is concerned, and this may very well be the reason for Virat to quit T20 Test captaincy. Uh, Whatever said and done, Virat has been an absolute legend. He's been one of the best captains that India has ever had, and his records speak for himself. And that's the and that is the reason why this comes as a huge shock, because but still, for somebody who's struggling with his form lately, he's not scored a century in the last 25 months. Hopefully, now Virat is that burden is off his shoulders of leading India, and all these distractions, controversies surrounding his captaincy, whether the manner in which he was um, removed as ODI captain. Although Virat, whatever he said, he was unhappy. Though the other side of the story is that when the day he was told that he's not going to be the ODI captain, the team was selected a month later, and he was informed by the chief selector that they are thinking that they need to have one captain for white ball formats, for both the white ball formats. So that's the story so far. Now, lot of reactions coming here on sports today. BCCI, not too many people seem to be happy with the way BCCI has dealt with the entire episode. Rahane and Pujara also. Sir, somebody is saying Rahane and Pujara, but I doubt if that is going to be the reason that, Rahane and Pujara. Mm, and I also feel that going forward, Virat will pick and choose his matches, his formats also. Maybe in times to come, as uh, you know, um, in weeks, in months, in years, the amount of white ball cricket that Virat is going to play is going to come down gradually, gradually, gradually. So that's what is going to happen, and that's what I feel. Who will be the captain? Piyush Roy. Piyush Roy is saying who will be the captain. Piyush, this is exactly what I am also trying to discuss here. The options that you have. Do you want to have a completely new captain? For example, the way South Africa had after the 2003 World Cup. They had a brand new captain in Graham Smith. Now, AJ Iskon is saying, as one says, England tour Test cricket needs Virat. Revolutionized Indian Test cricket, made youth um, glued to TV and watch it. He won seven Senna away tests and second best MSD. Could win three. Well, AJ Iskon, I completely agree with you. Virat has been one of the reasons why people still watch Test cricket. Of course, the purists would say that Test cricket is the ultimate form of cricket, but it has to be watchable. There has to be some interest level amongst the new generation also. And Virat perhaps was a flag bearer. Virat was one of the reasons why Test cricket, as Shane Warne mentioned, that he is one of the reasons why people still go out there to watch Test cricket. Sunny Singh, who is the next captain in test matches? That's what I'm saying. The options that you have. Rohit Sharma, is Rohit Sharma be going to be the next test captain? Even if he is, he could be is he your long term solution, Rohit Sharma, with all the fitness issues, injuries, um, and to lead India in all three formats, or rather all four formats, including IPL? The options that you have. Ajinkya Rane, is he still in contention for even a place in the Indian team? Because he's still 33. So can he still be considered now that Virat is no longer going to be the test captain? You have KL Rahul. He led India in that Joburg test. Of course, India lost that test match. Um, do you think after the comment of Rahul on the stump mic, 11 players versus country, do we need to have a captain like this for future? Sohan Sai. Sohan, I don't know about that. That's a decision that has to be taken by the selectors. But yes, what he said. Um, there are a lot of things that we appreciate as far as Virat is concerned. The way this team handles itself in on overseas tours, um, be it sledging, be it just looking into the eye of the opposition more often than not. But what happened yesterday or day before yesterday in Cape Town, whether it was Virat who said that focus on your team also, not just focus on the opposition all the time. That's what Virat said on that stump mic. KL Rahul, 11 players versus the entire country. So that was a little over the top. Then Ashwin also, he directly accused the host broadcaster, Supersport, that find a better way to win test matches. So yes, uh, that's questionable, but there have been. He's still young. That's going to be a decision. Captaincy is going to be a decision that is going to be taken by. But what all options? You have somebody like Jasprit Bumrah also. But Jasprit Bumrah, with fast bowlers, if Pat Cummins can lead Australia, why can't Jasprit Bumrah? But Australia, um, and Jasprit Bumrah will have to see, workload management, because the amount of cricket that is being played today, in this day and age, because Jasprit Bumrah hasn't played too much of cricket at home. He usually sits out. I think he's played just one Test match in India at home. That was against England here uh, last year, and that's it as of now. But Indian cricket in the last 4 5 years has suffered, and I am sorry to say this, uh, having spoken to a lot of people involved. Indian cricket in the last 4 5 months has suffered the manner in which things have been handled, spoken about. It has suffered, and I wonder what's going to happen next. Now, Shivane Mahajan is saying, Rahul bhai, Virat has always done things for Indian cricket. Huge respect to him. But this sudden decision has left Indian cricket hanging. Opinion. I agree. That is exactly, Shivane. That is exactly what I'm saying. In the last 4 5 months, you can always say that somebody is right, somebody is wrong. But the question is, um, there has to be somebody who has to handle things, who has to handle things appropriately. That is also a job, to run the game, to cricketers, BCCI officials. They need to be a well-oiled machine. Everybody has a job to do. And if in the last 4 5 months somebody like Virat Kohli um, has been left disappointed for reasons that may be valid, that may not be valid, but at least there has to be somebody, has to convey, somebody has to bring everybody on the same page. So that's a job that has to be done. In the last 4 5 months, that has not happened, and I wonder what is going to happen in next few months. So now, another super chat, Ashutosh Garg. Not as a Virat fan, but this is the worst BCCI management ever. Could not manage a successful captain and champion player. No domestic red ball cricket for the last couple of years. For the last 2 years, yes, there has been no first class cricket at home because of COVID. That is what we have been told. And but there have been places, there have been countries where they have had their domestic cricket. Goat is saying, by making Rohit captain, BCCI might reduce his career by big margin, might retire in 2 years. We'll have to see this. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to wrap this up, and in a few minutes, Harshit, I'm taking your question. Smith came back after a ban and doping, doing wonders. Even captain, this BCCI versus for bigger than Smith incident. Cricket needs to prioritize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up here. I will come back again with Nikhil Nas, so we can have a better discussion and involve you people also. It's a two-way communication. See you.